which bridges between organic and inorganic chemistry. So basically it is a branch of chemistry where the complex has one or more than metal carbon or more than, okay. Remember, in this case, the metal ligand interactions are mostly pi acidic type. Okay, and the metal carbon bond can be of sigma type or pi bond type. Is that clear? The metal carbon bond can be of sigma type or pi bond type. These are the two prominent examples which comes under the organometallics. One is a metal metal carbonyl compound, and the second is called as G salt. Right? The left one, if you will see, in this case, the CO is acting as a ligand, right? And the moment it will transfer the electron density from the sp filled hybrid orbital to metal, the nature of the bond will be sigma. You see this nature of the bond is sigma. And now after the bond formations from CO to M, there will be a transfer of electron density from metal filled d orbital to metal empty pi star orbital of CO. So first sigma takes place in metal. Similarly, if you will compare with respect to G salt, here they enter through the electron cloud of alkene. There will be an interaction of metal from the electron cloud of alkene bond, and the nature of the bond will be, of course, sigma bond. Then there will be a transfer of electron density from the metal filled orbital to pi star empty orbital. There will be a transfer of electron density from metal filled orbital to pi star anti-bonding orbital. So in this case also, if you will see, there will be a first bond formations from ligand to metal, and then there will be metal to ligand. Of course, there are also the cases where the reverse phenomena used to take place. Reverse in sense, rather than to transfer the electron density from metal to ligand in form of pi bonding, there will be a electron density flow from ligand to metal in the pi bond formations. Okay, but in either of the cases, remember there will be a first sigma bond formations, and which is going to be takes place from ligand to metal. Okay, and the metal ligand interactions are mostly pi acidic type. These are the examples. If you will see at the bottom of the slide, 4 examples I have mentioned so that you can have a clear image about the nature of organometallic compound. The first one, if you will see, we have just few lectures back, we have ended about it. This is called ferrocene. If you will see here, in this case, central metal is iron, and iron is coordinated with Cp, cyclopentadienyl anion. So basically, in this case also, there is a bond between metal and carbon, and of course, all the 5 carbons are involved in the bonding. That's why the hapticity of the ligand is 5. That is another thing. Forget about it. The second example is called as G salt. Now, if you will see the structure, just compare this one. This both are the same, right? Here, the bond is going to be existed between the electron cloud of alkene to platinum, or we can say that there is an interaction between platinum carbon of alkene group. Third is tetraethyl lead, bond between lead and carbon. Right, and the fourth one is dicobalt octacarbonyl, and is CO2 CO folate. So in this case, the cobalt is going to be coordinated with CO. So in all the cases, basically the bond do exist between metal and carbon, and that's why they do categorize under the organometallic compounds. Okay, let us move ahead and we shall see that what type of nature of bondings are involved and what deviation has come with the organometallic definitions. Okay, so this is the depiction about the metal carbon in organometallic compound. If you will notice here, in this case, the metal do have the electropositive character and carbon should have electronegative character. Then only the compound will comes under the category of organometallic nature. Is that clear? The metal electropositive, of course, it usually be, and then the carbon should have negative character. Okay. So what we can say, if there is a bonding interactions, either it is ionic or covalent, localized or delocalized nature between one or more than one carbon atom of an organic group or the molecule with main group, transition element, lanthanide or actinide metal atom, the complex will be called as organometallic. Okay. Again, I will repeat, if there is a bond between one or more than one carbon atom of organic group or molecule, and whether the nature of bond is ionic, covalent, localized or delocalized, the bond is going to be happen with main group, transition element, lanthanide or actinide, then those complexes will be called as organometallic complex. Second, in the long-standing traditions, the organic derivatives of the metalloids such as the boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic and tellurium also are included in this definition. Okay, so not only the metal carbon bond, even the bond which is going to be formed with boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic and tellurium, even though they are metalloid, they do be considered under organometallic compound, right? And the reason behind this is they do have more electropositive character with respect to the carbon, and the electronegativity difference is sufficient enough to create the partial electronegative character on the carbon as well as the partial electropositive character on the metalloid like tellurium, arsenic. That's why they do comes under the organometallic compound. The third, it also understood that the element to which the carbon is bound is more electropositive. That we have discussed in the beginning of this slide, that the carbon which is bound to the more electropositive than the carbon will be comes under organometallic. Now the forget about metal and metalloid nature. If the carbon is bound is more electropositive than carbon, then those compound will becomes under the organometallic compound. Surprising to our level, if this is so, then why do the metal cyanide doesn't come under the organometallics? Right? Remember, in case of metal cyanide, the carbon is attached with the nitrogen, and nitrogen is having more electronegative character. So as a consequence, nitrogen will try to pull up the electron density and it will originate partial negative character on itself, and the carbon is going to occupy partial positive character. Cyanide, if you remember, what would be the nature? The carbon will itself will accommodate partial positive because of the presence of nitrogen, and as a consequence, the bond nature which is going to be formed between metal and carbon, of course, in that case, carbon is not up to that electropositive as it's supposed to be. And that's why those compounds does not considered under the metal, under the organometallic compound. Okay. So in the historical journey, remember the first organometallic compound is prepared by Cadet in 1757, and the name of the compound is cacodyl oxide. And the name of the compound is cacodyl oxide, right? Of course, there is a two different schools, are there the two different opinions about the first organometallic compound, because one school believes that cacodyl oxide cannot be first organometallic compound. Why? Because if you will see here, the cacodyl oxide formula, the arsenic is making a bond between the carbon. Again, the same story, that arsenic is not a metal, and how come it will be organometallics? But of course, later on it has been discarded, and they do believe that since the definition is going to be framed with respect to the electronegative nature of carbon, and any electropositive which is bonded with the electronegative will be considered as organometallic, so it should be. Anyway, we are not going to be get into in that. So cacodyl oxide structure was explored by Robert Bunsen. Structure means formula, right? By the Robert Bunsen. And the preparation takes place by heating the potassium acetate with arsenic oxide, and it results the cacodyl oxide, and it's a very foully smelly compound. In the same sequence, in 1848, The Edward Franklin has attempted to prepare ethyl radical by the reactions of ethyl iodide with zinc. But accidentally what has happened that a colorless liquid of ethyl zinc has been prepared. Third, in 1900, the Victor Grignard has prepared the Grignard reagent, which has changed the whole organic chemistry. And in the same progress, the organolithium has bring up a major boom in the field of organic synthesis, and then Ziegler and so many prominent researchers get involved in the organometallics. So I think it is not required to explain why this organometallics is so much important. Even in the recent year, if you will notice, every 5 years, someone has been awarded a Nobel related to the organometallics, whether it's the Suzuki cross coupling reactions, whether it is Krebs catalysis. Means every now and then, if you will notice, the Nobel award is going to be associated with the organometallics research. So this is the importance of organometallic compound. So in this sequence, we shall start with the classifications of main group organometallic compound. See, the organometallic compound can be categorized in a number of ways. But here we are going to focus on the nature of the bond of the metal carbon, and on the basis of that we are going to classify our organometallic compound. So there are three categories of organometallic compounds. One is ionic organometallic compound. Second is sigma bonded covalent organometallic compound, and third one is multi-centered electron deficient organometallic compound. So these are the three prominent categories are available in terms of organometallic compound. Let us discuss more about these three categories. In case of ionic organometallic compounds, remember these compounds are formed when a hydrocarbon group existing as carbene ion. For example, here this will be exist as a carbene ion, and that is negatively charged and is attracted strongly by a higher electropositive metal cation. So this carbene ion is highly attracted by a electropositive metal of calcium, and if the nature of the attraction is non-directional electrostatic forces, then they do becomes under the ionic organometallic compounds, right? So in this case, the main conditions for ionic organometallic compound is the electropositive metal, strongly electropositive metal, like alkali and alkaline earth metal, right? So if you will see, most of the alkali and alkaline earth metals do comes under the ionic organometallic compound. Remember, there are the three exceptions. For example, lithium, beryllium and magnesium. They don't come under this ionic organometallic compound. Is that okay? Now the second type of classification comes for covalent organometallic compound. So in this case, most of the organometallic compounds comes. Okay, so most of the organometallic compounds of non-transition elements are covalent bond compounds involving the metal carbon sigma bond. Of course, the nature of the bonding cannot be purely covalent. There will always have the ionic character, but of course the percentage of the covalent character will be more. That's why they do come under the sigma bonded covalent organometallic compound. In these sigma bonded organometallic compounds, the carbon atom of organic group is basically linked to the metal through the normal electron pair. Normal electron pair, what does it mean? It simple means that there should be a two-centered two-electron bond. Two-centered means how many number of atoms are involved. Yeah, how many type of element you can say are involved in the nature of bonding. So here, if you will say, so it is MgC2H5, right? So with respect to Mg, it is two-centered two-electron, right? So and nature of the bond will be covalent. Again, I will remember the most of the organometallics of non-transition elements are covalent organometallic compounds involving the sigma bond metal carbon bond. Of course, the bond nature, covalent bond nature cannot be purely 100%. It do have some ionic character. But in these sigma bonded organometallic compound, the carbon atom of the organic group is linked to the metal through the normal electron pair of two center 2 electron bond, right? And the best example I have mentioned here, dialkyl beryllium and diethyl magnesium. So the polarity of metal carbon bond depends upon the difference into the electronegativity difference between the metal and carbon. In some cases, it also depends upon the availability of metal orbital and polarizability of electron cloud. Okay, for example, G salt. Let us move to the third category, that is called multi-centered electron deficient organometallic compound. See, just now we have discussed about dialkyl beryllium and diethyl magnesium. Remember, the organometallic compounds like dialkyl beryllium are trimethyl aluminum. In that case, they are electron deficient. To complete their octet, or you can say to complete their valence shell, what they used to do, they used to prefer to get polymerized so that they can complete their octet. And in the process of polymerizations, they do involved in the multi-centered bonding. For example, if you will see here, I have shown the depictions. One of the fragment is AlCH3 whole thrice. If you will cut this from this point, right? These are the two fragments. One is trialkyl aluminum and another is trialkyl aluminum. They do we get bonded. So with how many type of alkyl groups are present? Two type of. One is terminal and another is bridging. What is bridging? Bridging is the nature of a bond which is going to be flanked in between of the two metal center. For example, in this case, this methyl is flanked in between of the two aluminum. That's why it will be a bridging nature. If you will see about this methyl, it is called as terminal, right? And now see the nature of the bond. If you will see how many things are going to be, one aluminum, one carbon, one aluminum. So how what is about it is 3 centered, right? And if you will see, there will be a bond formations by the sharing of electron between aluminum and methyl. So it will be 2 electron. Why not second one? Because in that case, basically there will be a no sharing of electron. The only electron is going to be transfer in the form of coordinate bond. That's why the nature of bond will be 3 centered 2 electron. Okay, so again I will come to the point, the multi-centered. Some of the organometallic compound like dialkyl beryllium or trialkyl aluminum, they are electron deficient in nature. To complete their valence shell, what they used to do, they used to be get polymerized and involve the multi-center bonding. And this type of organometallics are considered as intermediate between ionic and covalent. Okay, multi-centered are intermediate of ionic as well as covalent organometallic compound. Okay. Now the bonding in this class of organometallic compound cannot be explained on the basis of conventional 2 electron 2 center, which was been there in the covalent bond, right? As they involved in the more complicated multi-centered bonding. These compounds are also referred to as non-classically bonded organometallic compound. Non-classically bonded organometallic compound. I have shown the two examples, that is Al2CH3 whole 6 and BeCH3 whole twice to the power of n. Okay. Let us move towards the general synthetic method. If you will see, in case of synthetic methods, right, there are the 5 synthetic methods are available for the preparations of main group organometallic compounds. And what are they? They are direct reactions of metal. Second is metal exchange reaction. Third, carbene and halide reactions. Fourth, metal hydrogen exchange reactions, right? So, and fifth is a methylene insertion reactions. So these are the 5 reactions, type of reactions, which usually been considered for the preparation of main group organometallic compound. Again, I will repeat. One is a direct reactions of metal, metal-metal exchange, carbene ion halide exchange, metal hydrogen and methylene insertion. Let us discuss one by one about these reactions. One is a direct reactions of metal. See, the other name of this reaction is oxidative addition reactions. See, right? And how does it take place? When many metals react with alkyl halide, under the suitable conditions, they form organometallic compounds. Right? Second process. How come? See, what is the other name of this compound? That is called oxidative additions. If you will see the definition of oxidative addition reaction, what does it mean? See, if there will be an addition of ligand and which will increase the oxidation state of the metal as well as the coordination number of the metal, then they will be called as oxidative addition reactions. Clear hai? If by the addition of ligand, the oxidation state of the metal as well as the coordination number of the complex is going to be increased, then those type of addition will be called as oxidative additions. And I simply told that in this case, especially for the main group element, what do? We perform the reactions with alkyl halide and metals, and under the suitable conditions they form organometallic compound. So in the depicted way, I can say, suppose it is a metal having the oxidation state 0. And the moment it will be get treated with alkyl halide, what it will do? There will be an addition. And in what way this addition used to take place? Metal will make a bond with halogen and simultaneously it will also make a bond with R. Now see, with respect to metal, if you will notice, what will be the oxidation state of the metal? It will be 2+. Why? Because the two group carbene ion as well as halogen are going to be combined. And of course, here the coordination number are the number of ligands which are available around the metal is 0. And what about here? Here the number of the ligands which are going to be involved is 2. Agreed? So what we can say that such type of reactions comes under the oxidative addition reactions. Right? The favorable point for these reactions to happen is the nature of the metal should be electropositive, so that they do have the strong affinity towards the halogen. So these are the example. Now, if you will compare these mentioned example with my depictions, you will notice that both are the same. Only here the M is going to be varied. Here in this case, M is magnesium, then zinc, then mercury, and we are performing the reactions with aryl halide. Right? And of course, in every metal, the coordination number is going to be increased as well as the oxidation state too. Remember, these reactions are exothermic in nature because of the formation of metal halide bond, and they are to be means to make these reactions to be happen. Always remember the nature of the metal should be more electropositive. That already I have shared on the third point. Okay. Now the second reaction, that is called as metal-metal exchange reactions. The metal-metal exchange reactions, the other name of this reaction is transmetallation reactions. Right? See, metal-metal exchange. So basically, in case of transmetallation reaction, one metal is going to be substituted or replaced by the other metal. Now the question is, which is going to replace? What the feature should be required? So anyway, we shall discuss. In transmetallation reaction, one metal is going to be replaced by the other metal. Here I have mentioned that, for example, one metal M replaces the other metal M dash, then it will be considered as transmetallation reaction, and it is most convenient method of the synthesis of organometallic compound. Now this is the other reaction. Now see here, this M reacted with Rm dash, what the product is going to be happen? Rm plus M dash. So what is happening? Basically, M is replacing to this M dash. M is replacing to the M dash. right? So again, M is displacing to M dash, are substituting to M dash. Now remember, for the substitution of M dash, always remember M should be in higher in position in the electrochemical series. Okay, M should always have a higher position in the electrochemical series, then only this replacement can take place. To be generalize this statement, I must say the displacing metal is higher in the series than the displaced metal. Agreed? The displacing metal is higher in the series than the displaced metal. Dependent upon the difference in the free energy of the formation of two species, Rm days and Rm. Okay. Next, one more point. Remember, these reactions are endothermic or weakly exothermic. Okay, endothermic and exothermic. And usually the compounds of mercury, thallium, lead and bismuth are act as a versatile reagent for such type of exchange reactions. Okay. Third reaction is carbene and halide exchange reaction. Now, carbene and halide, just we have discussed that metal means in that case metal is going to be replaced by another metal. Here, carbene and halide reactions. That's why I have mentioned here metathesis. Metathesis may be regarded as taking place by the exchange of formal carbene R minus and halide minus. For example, if you notice here what is happening, basically M is going to be bonded with X and R is going to be bonded with E by the exchange of carbene and halogen. Okay. Now, in case of group 30 and group 15, prominent method for the of these complexes, right? Carbon group. Now it is okay. Remember, the hydrocarbon R means, in this case, if you will discuss, this is the alkyl group, right? It will try to form a covalent bond rather than ionic. So what it will try to prefer, it will always try to prefer to move towards the silicon. Similarly, if you will remember, this halogen will always try to make ionic bond. So what it will do, it will try to connect with the more electropositive metal, like here. So the basic importance of this, the basic salient feature for this reaction is that X is always preferred to form ionic rather than covalent. So remember, the alkyl group tends to bond with more electronegative element and X will try to attach with more less electronegative element or more electronegative element, it will be more electronegative element to make a covalent bond. Whereas halogen will try to connect with more electropositive element so that the nature of the bond can be ionic. Okay, I have shown one reactions here also. The next is called as metal hydrogen exchange. So here hydrogen is going to be exchanged, right? So the metal hydrogen exchange reactions are referred as metallation reactions. This is the example. Now see, R bonded with M and R dash is going to be. So what we can say that the metal is trying to exchange the H. If you will see the product, right? So what you can conclude, basically for the formation of Rm, remember the H is going to be exchanged by the metal. Okay. Now, in these reactions, the nucleophilic attack of the hydrocarbon moiety. Here, what is the hydrocarbon moiety? R bar, R prime. So it will attack the nucleophilic attack of hydrocarbon moiety of the organometal reagent of the organic substrate, right? Up we will take some example to make this thing clear. If you will see here, right? Now see, 1H of C5S6 is going to be exchanged with lithium, and then the CS3 will bonded with this H and makes the hydrocarbon. Okay, so what is happening? Basically, the nucleophilic attack of hydrocarbon moiety of the organometal, means this, takes place on the reagent atom of organic substrate. So nucleophilic attack of the methyl group will be takes place on the organic substrate, and it will subtract the hydrogen is going to be exchanged and methane is going to be formed. In the second example, if you will notice, similarly now here this butyl group is going to attack on the nucleophilic way, and here the proton is going to be bonded and it is going to result C4H10. And in the last case, here alkoxide is going to abstract the proton or exchange the proton, I must say. It will be more appropriate to speak about. So what it would be? It will be ROH, and then there will be organometallic compound formation. So basically in this case, the nucleophilic attack of the organic moiety or the hydrocarbon moiety of organometal takes place at the organic substrate to make it happen. Okay. The fifth one is methylene insertion reactions. So what are the methylene insertion reactions? So in this case, basically the methylene group is getting inserted to the metal chloro bond. Methylene group is getting inserted to the metal chloro bond. If you will notice in the first reactions, SiCl4. So if I will try to draw the structure of SiCl4, it is like this. SiCl4 hai. This is 1 Cl, second Cl, third Cl, and the fourth Cl. So the moment it will treated with diazomethane, of course methane is going to be liberated out, and the diazo group is going to be inserted in between of this metal carbon bond. Don't be confused with the direct reactions. Here there will be no change in the oxidation state of the central metal ion. And of course, the coordination number is also not going to be increased. For example, here in case of silicon, how many number of ligands are available? 4. And what about in the product side? Of course, still it is 4. And what about the oxidation state? The oxidation state of the silicon is +4 in the reactant, and same oxidation state is going to be exist even after in the product also. So basically there is no change in the oxidation state as well as the coordination number. That's why I'm using the word insertion. And insertion of what? Insertion of the diazomethylene group. Right? So these are the reactions. Similarly, in the germanium chloride, if you will see, in the bond of GCl, CS2Cl is going to be inserted. In HgCl2, again CS2Cl is going to be inserted. And if you will further treated the same compound with another mole of diazomethane, one more bond is going to be inserted by CS2 group, and the final product will be linear HgCS2Cl plus N2. Right? So these are the 5 reactions which used to be preferred for the preparation of